All right, guys, this is an important one because this is going to be the difference sometimes between you making a sale and losing a sale. This is going to be something that can push you over the edge, something that once you really grasp and start to understand, can truly take your sales skills to the next level and allow you to start closing some of those deals that in the past you may have let slip away due to not understanding these simple things. So let's go through some of these objections that I know we all hear every single time we get on the phone. I need to ask my partner. I need to speak with my wife. I'm not sure if now is the right time. I just need to take the weekend to think it over and look over everything and make sure this is right for me. I don't make decisions on the spot, and on and on and on it goes. Guys, at first glance, these common objections look like a complex and unending maze of issues that you have to learn to master individually. Every single specific objection, you probably think you need to learn how to actually tweak your response to it to make this work for you, to choose the right path, left, right. How do I answer this specific thing each time to take this from open to close and turn this person into an actual sale? I mean, chances are you will have run into a minimum of at least one of these objections on every call you take. So you better start studying that dictionary-sized list of them right away, right? Except for that when you take a step back and actually look at this as a whole and analyze them, you start to realize something right away. And it's going to sound absolutely batshit, so just stay with me, guys. But all objections are the same. I know it sounds absolutely crazy, but every sentence up there that I've told you and everything that I've rattled off right now sounds unique and has its own tiny connotations and substance. But the thing is, none of that actually matters. And that's because every one of them is the same thing: certainty. Answering any of these objections without dealing with their certainty is simply going to force them to create a brand new objection and throw that in your face. And I know you guys have dealt with this time and time again, because in the end, it's not really the objection that they're describing to you that's the problem. It is that they're uncertain about one of the three things I'm going to describe below. What's really happening is they're using these objections as a smoke screen for what their real problem is. They're not actually saying these things to you because they mean that specific thing. They might even think that they do, but they don't realize what it really is that they're uncertain about either your product or service, you, or your company. These are what we call the 310s, the three things that you need to be, you need to have your customer, your prospect, absolutely certain on before they will ever buy from you. And the closer on a scale from 1 to 10 that you get them to a 10 on each and every one of these individual things, the better off you are having a chance to actually close them at the end of the day. Okay, so again, the 3 points of certainty that we're discussing today is your product or service. What does this mean? Your prospect must be absolutely certain that they love your product or service. They need to think that it is the best thing since sliced bread. They need to believe that it not only solves their pain, but it is also a perfect value for the money that you're charging for it in the first place. Again, this comes back to the transactional nature of what you're trying to do, whether that be financial or informational. Everything has an intrinsic value, and you need to make sure that your offer suits that perfectly. The next part is you. Do they think that you're a likable, trustworthy person who's not only an expert in your field, but also willing to put your customers' needs first and make sure if problems do arise, you'll be there on the spot to solve them? Or do they think you're an unlikable snake in the grass novice who won't be able to get them any tangible results whatsoever? These are the extremes of your prospect's certainty from 1 to 10 when it comes to you. And you need to make sure that they get as close to thinking that you're the best person around for the job, you're trustworthy, and you will put their needs above all else. That's what you need to get them to. That's when they're going to actually be willing to buy from you. And finally, it's your company. Okay, they need to be absolutely certain about your company. In fact, this is why it's so much easier to sell to existing customers than to new ones, even if you don't have a personal relationship with you. It's much easier to sell to somebody who's already paid money to you than it is to go out and find a brand new person. And it's because they already know your company, they trust them, there's nothing new to go into this. They need to believe your company will put their needs above you will put your customers' needs above their own. And that no matter what, it is a trustworthy organization that's always going to do its absolute best to help them and solve their problem. Now, you can continue to read through this because we give you some good examples and some more insight in here, but these are the areas of certainty that lies behind every single objection you've ever heard during a sales call. It's a lot easier, guys, like I said, for them to throw up a smoke screen of let me think about it, or it's a bad time of year, than it is for them to directly tell you, I don't trust you, or I think your service stinks. They're not going to tell you that. Instead, they're going to throw up an objection like we've talked about before, and that's going to allow them to save face and be able to move on. But that is what they're saying. At the end of the day, when they say, I need to talk to my partner, or they say, I need to take the weekend to think it over, what they're actually saying is, I'm not sure that your product is going to solve my problem. I'm not certain that you're the person to help me through this. And you need to then quickly answer that objection and then circle back to the beginning of your sales presentation with that in mind, that you need to improve their certainty and then push that down the line. You need to make sure you're getting them. Every ounce of your energy needs to be going into not handling objections, not answering this one objection that they're giving you, but remembering that this is actually about trying to increase their certainty for the 3 10s above. Okay, so you answer the objection and then you get right back to the beginning of your sales presentation. Don't let the smoke screen throw you off. Don't let what you already know to be true, which is that they're uncertain, go by the wayside and get bungled up in whatever conversation they might want to have about the smoke screen that they're throwing up. Pay special attention to the responses and find which of the 3 10s that you need to focus on most. Then execute each loop that we just talked about after the objection back to the beginning, loop it until you can get them to the close in precisely the same way. Move them down the line and get them from open to the ultimate prize, which is the close. And make sure, as I'm showing you here, stay within the boundaries. These wobbles on the line, these are where you're taking these objections and looping them around and you're moving a little bit further, but the entire conversation always needs to be entirely built around continuing this motion from open to close. If you start to lose it and go past these boundaries, that's when you've allowed their smoke screens to take hold. That's when you've allowed their objections to take you too far. And that's when you're going to not be able to close the sale and you're going to lose it. That's the last thing we want. So make sure you read this over and over again, pound this into your head and get this ready, because this will take your sales skills to the next level. And I want to be there when they do. Make sure you let us know if you have any questions, as always, in the group or in the chat, and I'll see you in the next video.